large intestine. We are going to see about the introduction of the large intestine. What is the situation of the large intestine? Measurements of large intestine, parts of the large intestine, and organs associated with the large intestine, structure of the large intestine, blood supply, nerve supply, and functions of the large intestine. Okay, so let's start with the introduction of the large intestine. So introduction, large intestine, it is a arc-like structure in the digestive system. It is a arc-like structure in the digestive system. So introduction of the large intestine is, large intestine, it is a arc-like structure in the digestive system. See the diagram, able to see? Diagram is visible. See, this structure we call it as arc-like structure. Large intestine is a arc-like structure present in the digestive system. And situation, it is situated beginning in the cecum in the right iliac fossa and terminating at the rectum and anal canal deep in the pelvis. So what is the situation of the large intestine? It is situated beginning at the cecum in the right iliac fossa and terminating at the rectum and anal canal deep in the pelvis. So it is situated beginning in the cecum, that is the part of the starting part of the large intestine, the right iliac fossa, and terminating is going to end at the rectum and anal canal deep in the pelvis. Next, measurements, length is 1.5 meters long, approximately 1.5, and lumen is about 6.5 centimeter in diameter. Lumen is about 6.5 centimeter in diameter. Parts of the large intestine, the colon is divided into the cecum, ascending colon, transverse colon, descending colon, sigmoid colon, rectum, and anal canal. Can you able to see the diagram? See, parts of
yes, sir.
large intestine, the cecum, it is the first part of the large intestine. Cecum, ascending colon, just observe the diagram, observe the arrow, ascending colon, transverse colon, descending colon, sigmoid colon, and rectum and anal canal. These are the parts of the large intestine. Once again, I will repeat. Parts of the large intestine are cecum, ascending colon, transverse colon, descending colon, sigmoid colon, rectum, and anal canal. So these are the parts of the large intestine. Now we will see detail about the parts. What is cecum? Cecum, it is the first part of the colon, and it is dilated parts and connecting to the ascending colon in superior region. Just see the diagram. Cecum, this is the part of the cecum. It is the first part of colon. It is the first part of colon, and it is a dilated parts and connecting to the ascending colon in the superior region. See, it is the first part of colon, and it is dilated part and connecting to the ascending colon. Can you able to see the ascending colon? It is going to connect to the ascending colon in the superior region. Is it clear? Cecum, it is the first part of colon and it is a dilated part and it is connecting to the ascending colon in superior region. Next, the vermiform appendix is present in this region, usually about 8 to 9 centimeter long, and it is contains more lymphoid tissue. Just see the appendix. The vermiform appendix present in this region. See, this is the vermiform appendix. It is present in the cecum region. The vermiform appendix is present in this region. Usually, it is about 8 to 9 centimeter long, and it contains more lymphoid tissues. It contains more lymphoid tissues. So where it will be present? Appendix, it will be present in the cecum region. Next, we will see what is ascending colon. See, this is the ascending part. Ascending colon. This pass upwards from the cecum. See, this pass upwards from the cecum. Upwards from the cecum to the level of the liver. See, this is the liver. To the level of liver. To the level of the liver, where it curves actually to the left. Where it is going to curves actually to the left. Where it is going to turns to the left. Hepatic flexor means position of the liver. Liver is going to stands here. Okay. So ascending colon, this pass upwards from the cecum to the level of the liver, where it curves actually to the left. It is going to curves to the left. So this is about the ascending colon. So it is like arc-like structure. Can you able to see now? It is arc-like structure. Cecum will be the first part and second part will be the ascending colon. And third one is transverse colon. Transverse colon. This region we call it as transverse colon. Transverse colon. This is a loop of colon. See, it looks like a loop of colon from here to here. Loop of colon that extends across the abdominal cavity. See, it extends across the abdominal cavity. Cavity in front of the duodenum. It is present in the front of the duodenum. See, this is the duodenum. Duodenum, it is the part of the small intestine. So front of the duodenum and the stomach to the area of the spleen. Stomach and to the area of the spleen curves to downwards. See, this is the stomach and area of the spleen and it curves to downwards. Here it is going to turn downwards. That is the transverse colon. That is transverse colon. It is a loop of colon that extends across the abdominal cavity in front of the duodenum. Front of the duodenum and the stomach to the area of the spleen. Stomach and to the area of the spleen curves to downwards. Next part, next we'll move on to the descending colon. So we'll see what is descending colon. Descending colon, this passes down the left side of the abdominal cavity, then curves the midline. Just observe the diagram. Descending colon, this passes down the left side of the abdominal cavity. Down the left side of the abdominal cavity. Just observe the arrow. Descending colon, this passes down the left side of the abdominal cavity. Okay, down the left side of the abdominal cavity, then curves to the midline. See, here it is going to curves towards to the midline. Is it clear? The descending colon, this passes down the left side of the abdominal cavity, then curves to the midline. This is about descending colon. Next we will see what is sigmoid colon. Sigmoid, it is S-shaped curve. Just observe the diagram. It is the S-shaped curve in the pelvis. S-shaped curve in the pelvis that contains downwards to become the rectum. It contains downwards to become the rectum. This is the rectum. So what is sigmoid colon? Sigmoid colon, it is a shaped curve in the pelvis that contains downwards to become the rectum. Next, the rectum. What is rectum? Rectum, it is slightly dilated section of the colon. It is about 13 centimeter long. So rectum, it is a slightly dilated section of the colon, about 13 centimeter long. This is the rectum, and it leads from the sigmoid colon and terminates in the anal canal. See, rectum, it leads from the sigmoid column. It is going to start from the sigmoid column and terminates at the in the anal canal. It is going to end in the anal canal. So this is the parts of the large intestine. Once again, I will repeat parts of the large intestine: the cecum, ascending colon, transverse colon, descending colon, sigmoid colon, rectum, and anal canal. Yeah, right. Tell me.
Sir, cecum is connected with small intestine.
Sigmoid is not connecting with the small intestine. Just it is the large intestine, covered by large intestine.
Cecum, sir, cecum.
Cecum. Cecum, it is the first part of the large intestine in the valve of ileum, where the small intestine is going to connect to the cecum. That area we call it as ileocecal valve. Ileum is connecting to the cecum. For that junction, we call it as ileocecal valve. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Next part is the anal canal. Anal canal. See, this is the anal canal. This is a short passage about 3.8 centimeter long in the adults and leads from the rectum to the extensor. See, this is the anal canal, end part of the digestive system. This is a short passage about 3.8 centimeter long. The length of the anal canal is 3.8 centimeter long in the adults and leads from the rectum to the exterior. See, it's going to connect from the rectum to the exterior, outside. Okay, terminal part of the digestive system, like that also we can call. This is a short passage about 3.8 centimeter long in the adults and leads from the rectum to the exterior. Okay, next, the two sphincter muscles control the anus. In the anus, two sphincter muscles will be present, that is internal sphincter muscle and the external sphincter muscles. Two sphincter muscles are present in the anal canal, call it as internal sphincter muscle and external sphincter muscle. So what is the function of these two sphincter muscles? The first one, the internal sphincter consisting of smooth muscles under the control of the autonomic nervous system. See, the internal sphincter consisting of smooth muscles is under the control of the autonomic nervous system. So automatically it will do the work. Internal sphincter muscles. Another one is the external sphincter muscle formed by muscle. The external sphincter muscle is formed by the muscle is under voluntary control. It will be under our control, voluntary control. So the two sphincter muscles are present in the anal canal. Internal sphincter consisting of smooth muscles and it comes under the control of autonomic nervous system, and the external sphincter is formed by skeletal muscle, is under voluntary control. Just have a look of the structure of the large intestine. See, yellow color, this is the structure of the large intestine. Same cecum, ascending colon, transverse colon, descending colon, sigmoid colon, rectum and anal canal. Next is the blood supply. Blood supply of the large intestine. Under that, arterial supply. superior and inferior mesenteric artery, and it is a branch of the ileoceliac artery. Arterial supply, oxygenated blood to the large intestine, that is superior and inferior mesenteric arteries. These are the branches of the ileoceliac arteries. Next, venous drainage, that is ileoceliac veins joins to portal vein. Ileoceliac vein carries impure blood or deoxygenated blood from large intestine to the heart through the portal vein. This is about the arterial supply, blood supply, arterial supply, superior and inferior mesenteric artery. It is the branches of ileoceliac artery, and venous drainage, ileoceliac vein that joins to portal vein. Next, lymph drainage, ileoceliac group of lymph nodes. Ileoceliac group of lymph nodes. Next is the nerve supply, sympathetic nerve supply and parasympathetic nerve supply. Here under the sympathetic nerve supply, preganglionic fibers, that is T1 to L1. That is T10 means thoracic region, thoracic 10th level to the lumbar 1 segments of the sigmoid column. Thoracic region. Thoracic vertebrae is there, no, our vertebral column. It is divided, cervical, thoracic, lumbar, okay, coccyx. So here thoracic 10th level to L1, lumbar 1 segments of sigmoid colon, and the parasympathetic nerve supply from vagus nerve. Vagus, it is the 10th cranial nerve. So sympathetic and parasympathetic nerve supply. Under sympathetic nerve supply, preganglionic fibers, that is T10 to L1 segment of sigmoid colon, and parasympathetic nerve supply from vagus nerve. Next is applied anatomy. What are the disease conditions can occur to the large intestine? First one is appendicitis, inflammation of the vermiform appendix. This is one of the common disease. Appendicitis, inflammation of the vermiform appendix, and microbial diseases such as typhoid fever, salmonella infections like food poisoning, cholera, dysentery, inflammatory diseases, Crohn's disease or inflammatory condition of the alimentary tract, and ulcerative colitis, that is chronic inflammatory diseases of the mucosa of the rectum and colon, which may ulcerate due to infection. Ulcerative colitis is chronic inflammatory disease of the mucosa of the rectum and colon, which may ulcerate due to infection. And tumors, that is cancer of the rectum and cancer of the colon. This is the disease conditions can occur to the large intestine. Next will hernias, that is hernia, protrusion of an organ or part of organ through a weak point. Protrusion of an organ, bulging of the muscles, protrusion of an organ or part of an organ through a weak point in the softness of the muscles. And volvulus, this occurs when a loop of bowel twists through 180-degree, cutting off its blood supply, causing gangrene and obstructions. Volvulus. Another disease condition is interception, that is length of intestine is invaginated into itself. It occurs most common in children. It is most commonly in the children. So what will happen? Length of intestine is invaginated into itself. It is going to invaginate it, divided. And intestinal obstruction, construction of the intestine, stenosis, the pressure on the intestine from an outside. Intestinal obstruction. Name itself, it's showing obstruction. Constriction of the intestine due to stenosis or pressure on the intestine from an outside. Next, functions of the large intestine. First function, storage of matter. Matter is nothing but a absorbed or digested food. Storage of matter. Storage of digested food. Second function, absorption of fluids and solutes. It is going to absorb the fluids and solids from the digested food. Third function, lubrication of undigested matter to facilitate its passage. Lubrication of undigested matter to facilitate its passage. It gives the lubrication to undigested food and it helps for the passage to pass the undigested food. Next function is protection against the bacterial invasion due to presence of numerous lymphatic follicles. Protection against bacterial invasion due to presence of numerous lymphatic follicles. Protection against bacterial invasion due to presence of numerous lymphatic follicles. And last function is synthesis of vitamin B from colonic flora. Synthesis of vitamin B from colonic flora. So this is about the large intestine. So today we are studied about the what is large intestine, that is introduction of the large intestine. That is large intestine, it is a arc-like structure in the digestive system, and situation of the large intestine, it is situated beginning at the cecum in the right iliac fossa and terminating at the rectum and anal canal deep in the pelvis. And measurements, that is length of the large intestine is 1.5 meters long and lumen is about 6.5 centimeter in diameter. And parts of the large intestine are the colon is divided into the cecum, ascending colon, transverse colon, descending colon, sigmoid colon, rectum and anal canal. And blood supply of the large intestine is arterial supply and venous drainage. Arterial supply, superior and inferior mesenteric artery, that is the branches of the ileocecal artery, and venous drainage, ileocecal vein joins to the portal vein. Lymph drainage, that is ileoceliac group of lymph nodes. Next, nerve supply, the sympathetic nerve supply and parasympathetic nerve supply. Sympathetic nerve supply, preganglionic fibers T10 to L1, that is thoracic 10 to lumbar 1 segments of sigmoid colon. And parasympathetic nerve supply is from the vagus nerve. And applied anatomy, appendicitis, microbial diseases, salmonella infections, inflammatory diseases, ulcerative colitis, tumors, hernias, volvulus, intubación, intestinal obstruction, etc. And functions of the large intestine are storage of matter. It helps for the storage of matter and absorption of fluid and solutes. And third function is lubrication of undigested matter to facilitate its passage. Fourth one, protection against bacterial invasion due to presence of numerous lymphatic follicles. And fifth one is the synthesis of vitamin B from colonic flora. So this is about the large intestine.